unblemished, still raw when I finish. 30 years ago is when I picked up the image, wrote my first sentence, and I meant it. Called a brother Brown, he does the work of a chemist, mixing chemicals, devising different theories, coming with the hottest shit to make sure you hear me. Yeah, it's hot, lyrics that I written, they say I'm ice cold so you can get frostbitten. Close your eyes, feel the high cause we trippin'. Let me lay back and try to move something different. I'm that old new, running through your whole crew. When you know your duty, do what you supposed to. I got character, operate on principle. Peace to Jamal, one man and invincible. That's the early days, I graduate the later years. I'm still operating in a conscious atmosphere. Develop expertise, exceptional with self-esteem. I'm in my waking state, but I'm led by my dreams. I'm moving faster than the average mind can handle. My thoughts burning like a forest fire to a candle. I'm the example, every song's a sample. I give you just the right amount so you can handle. I liquefy it, let you sip it through a straw. Pure uncut sun, you can get it raw. You get a lesson from a word suggestion, it's my possession, and I'm about to move it real aggressive. So many agendas, but no real contenders. Just pretenders, I'm a message from the sender. I'm in my own lane, consciousness don't chase fame. I elevate through the spirit, make a change. I'm moving faster than the average mind.
You know how they say, like, when you have like a daughter or whatnot, and meeting a dude that she want to date, and the dad says, "Hey, what is your intentions with my daughter?" So for you, what is your intention for hip hop, the culture?
Ooh, that's a good one right there.
Yes, it is. You got me on that one.
I guess you can go into like the brothers who be having their hair locked up and really don't have, they just, it's a style, you know what I'm saying? It really ain't a lifestyle, it's just a style.
Right.
And you know, I think with hip hop, it's a lifestyle, you know what I'm saying? Because I think, you know, the genre of music I'm into, I'm talking about reincarnation, meditation, you know what I'm saying, diet, you know what I'm saying? Right. So it's more of a lifestyle, because I think, you know, when people live that type of lifestyle, you ain't dealing with all of the negativity and the craziness. You taking on a different energy, you know what I'm saying? So me, it's all about, you know what I'm saying, trying to have a balanced energy. And, you know, like my music, you just can't come into it like it's levels, you know what I'm saying? You gotta like read a couple things before you know what I'm saying, you get to me. So yeah. you have an understanding, or just be an open spiritual person that's just ready for it, you know what I'm saying?
So what are you saying, that my hip hop is in good hands with you?
Ain't no question.
That's right.
That's right. That's what's up. Yeah, most definitely.
That's right on. That's cool, right on.
Cool. So, son, I want to talk about some of the songs off your record before you make Radiant Room. So, like, for example, Way We Movin' featuring Buff One. So, what inspired this song?
Well, you know, if you go back into time, you know, Buff One, you know, out of the Athletic Mike League, me and him is probably about the coolest. And he been on maybe 5 or 6 of the albums, you know what I'm saying? So I always kind of reach out to him, and it ain't never no politics. You know what I'm saying? It's always send me the track.
That's cool.
And it's done, you know? That's how I like to deal with no politics.
Right. Nothing but love. Okay.
Yeah. When my man sent me the beat, you know what I'm saying? I just thought about him, sent it over, and it was done deal.
That's funny. I want to ask a question about that. So it's funny because you're like a strong solo artist, but then it almost seemed like you got a crew that backs you up. So it's a trip, because as strong as that is, then you come out of nowhere, and then you have like, what's it? So The Way We Movin', you said, like, we're featuring Buff One, and then you have like Live and Direct with Invincible. Yeah. So it's almost like a Bonnie and Clyde kind of, y'all flow, you know, with each other real tight and stuff. And you have like folks on like Catch the Vibe and Something in the Air. I think it's with Jason Berry. Yeah. So it's kind of like, so how do you decide when you're going to share a song with somebody, or when you're just going to do it yourself? Because it's almost kind of like you got this super group that you kind of hide in the background and be like, I'm doing my thing, but let me step to the side and let you check this out too. So how do you decide?
Like Jason Berry and a lot of that came from what Keith was referencing earlier with the band experience. When I got down with the live band and Invincible, that's a whole nother story. Far as like when I met her, she was 15 years old. And another guy that I was kicking it with, he's like, man, you got to check this little white girl out, man. She was just so amazing to be 15 and rapping like this. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And like really didn't nobody know about her. And she kind of exploded. She started doing little MTV things and moved out to New York. She got into her own little hookup to it, where to me it became a detriment because like a lot got to her head. So I didn't even want to work with her if I was doing no more music with her, because she got real like just arrogant. I'm like, wow, okay, do your thing.
Sorry to hear that, man. But I also wanted to mention though, so like on Way We Moving, I love how you and Buff One bring like a call to arms in regards to saying, we are leading by example. What you think we're doing? I mean, I enjoyed hearing that in the song, because so many entertainers today and artists or so-called artists will say, I'm not a role model. And you and Buff is like, yeah, we are. We concerned about the youth and we lead them by example. So I really appreciate that song, for that message.
Yeah, Buff, he wrote the hook. I just jumped on it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I like about him, because he working with me. He normally do conscious stuff anyway, but he ain't no deep conscious. But you won't hear no derogatory lyrics coming from him.
Right. Because I remember him on what was it, Blaze a Path?
Yep, Blaze a Path.
Off of Art of Sun. Yeah.
It's a few of them he done did.
He's on Universes too, I think. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You guys really complement each other really well.
Yeah.
Do you work with different producers, or you have one producer in particular that you stick with?
Yep, I work with a few different ones, and it's just about the beat. Whoever I go by, if the beat is I know I could. It's like if I listen to a beat and something come out of my head, like one line, that's all I need. I can build off one line.
Right.
So that's kind of how I do it. Like if I got a beat that's like, because I got some beats now that's super hot and I just can't find that one line.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I just move on. I won't try to spend all day trying to make something happen, you know what I'm saying, that ain't there, must not want to be. So, sometime I come back to it and see if something happens. Sometime it do, sometime it don't.
Well, that just kind of shows your care and, concern for your music, because sometimes we force things just because of a deadline, or we just want to get it done. So to know to step back from something, like I'm a visual artist, so I know sometimes I just got to step back from a painting. Sometimes I don't have it in me and it takes me a while. And sometimes I sit down there and do it in one sitting, but I let the expression dictate, the process.
So, you got to be patient.
That's right. And to know when to step back when you have to, or to look deeper when you need to keep digging. Because sometimes we'll stop up earlier than we have to, and we cut the expression short. So sometimes you got to read the room.
Yeah. And sometimes you get in there and maybe dabble out a little bit and be like, okay, that's all I needed to do. I know I can build off that the next day.
And the thing you thought you're going to throw away become the thing that just be the best thing that everybody gravitates to. So sometimes how it start off ain't how it ends.
Yeah. That's art.
That's art.
Definitely. Talk to us about the song Kinetic.
Kinetic?
Yeah.
Is that let me move you, let me groove you, I can bring the energy.
Yeah.
That's another one where, the beat just drive me, you know what I'm saying? Like I told you, a lot of that just come from remembering.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's just driven by the you know what I'm saying, by the beat. And it almost go to the point like what I was just telling him, like you can't force something out, and then you're trying to learn it. And learning is a source of confusion. You want to remember. You know what I'm saying? And I think when you start remembering it all flow, because everything is already out there. You know what I'm saying? You just kind of be in the right time and space to let it funnel through what you're trying to do in that moment.
Right.
Yeah, man. Now, in regards to that song and the hook, I keep forgetting to ask you this. Is it with my words, metaphors, and similes, or my verbs, metaphors, and similes?
Words, metaphors, and similes.
That's what I thought. Okay, that's what I thought. But because when I hear it, I'm like, is it verbs? Is it words? But yeah, I love that line. But
I ain't want to get too schooly and say verbs, metaphors, and similes.
Gotcha.
Like, this nigga think he went to Harvard, huh?
Gotcha. Okay. Thanks for cleaning that up for me.
You know, I had to strike a line between wanting to sound educated and hardcore. You know what I'm saying? You know, a little street.
Yeah.
It's when people just come off and they can't relate because you ain't saying nothing they can feel on a street level, then you might turn them off when you try to throw the intelligence in there. So
right.
I had to bring that. I had to mix that street in there and sneak a couple words, cuss words in there, maybe throw pussy in there or something just to grab the attention.
Oh, man. Go ahead, Jay.
No, I know. I remember when you used that word, and it kind of threw me off, and it's just kind of funny. And also, you do such a good balance of being real, you know, street, and then education and knowledge and stuff like that. That you earned where you could get away with that without giving a side eye, versus everybody just falling apart. Oh, he said what? It's kind of like, no, it goes with everything else. Like, you've been consistent with that kind of stuff. So just knowing that, you know, that you go get a little truth in there with your meal, and just don't be surprised when you bite on a bone. You might not like it, but it was there in there for you too.
I go back and forth on, should I say that? Should I put that in? You know, so you know, it's a battle sometimes leaving. Yeah. A lot of stuff then got left on the floor, but they go back to his point that I just want to be consistent.
Mm-hmm. Right. But when you said we can talk about some pussy on the weekends, I was like, man, he just said, I ain't got time for this. This is about business right now. Yeah. I was like, I ain't never heard nobody say that before, ever. It blew my mind, but I was so impressed. I was like, okay. He like, you know, we talk about, you know, that later. Yeah. Now's not the time for that. That's what you were saying.
But I think it go back to what I was saying. Like, when you write, if you get into that right time, all the lyrics is just swirling around you. It's just about being in that right present moment to grab them while they right there.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of times when I'm saying that to say, I'm not consciously thinking about talking about pussy on the weekend. Like, the format of all of that is just right there at that time. So I'm grabbing it because it all kind of line up. And it go back to just remembering. You know what I'm saying? Not consciously trying to write this, but remember it.
Gotcha. Well, I took from it that, you know, there's nothing dirty about what you were saying. You were saying, you know, now it's not the time for that. Right. Right. You're saying, no, we got to get into life right now. I mean, that's what I took from that when you said it. So, in that context, and I loved it.
But it did catch me off guard when I heard it, but I knew it wasn't like just saying it just to be saying it, because it was it was in context, which is true. But it was just funny, and I'm like, and he don't lose no points because of it. He can say whatever the hell because he earned to say he wants to say, because it goes along with everything else. So that says a lot. Hey,
I appreciate those validations then.
Oh yeah,
man. Yeah.
I was like, man, that's original. Okay, here we go again.
That's funny. That's funny. And I know that it's not easy, right? So you're calling your passion is an artist, right? And you know, it's an MC, and to express yourself and everything like that, right? And that's a whole life in itself. You know, that's a journey in itself. It's an exploration. It's a journey that's continuously happening. Mm-hmm. And then you got this little big thing called like life. Family, work, whatever, you know. How do you find your place in that? How do you juggle, you know, quote unquote life with your passion / calling?
Well, I can say if I take you back, I don't even know if I ever told Keith this, but if I go back to like 95, when I got out of the military, I got out of the military in 92. And from like 92 to 95, I was kind of, working on my music all the time. While I was active in the music, I was actively selling weed.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Yeah. Okay.
But and it's like to bring it up to this point now, when I see these dispensaries and all this shit all over in the neighborhoods, it just make me so mad, because it's like as we had to be underground taking prison chances selling weed. Now you letting these little white boys 13, 15 years old right out of high school own dispensaries, making millions of dollars
on the back of black souls. On
the back of black souls, ain't no question. So
there might be 2 or 3 black people with dispensaries in the area. Right. maybe.
It's just the fact that they done made it so comfortable for them to sell weed when we had to be in the dark. You know what I'm saying? Taking all these chances to do it. It's just sickening.
And they should have never let that stuff be legal anywhere until they let us out. Let the black folks out that's in jail. No way.
Anybody who was on doing time for that, you absolutely right.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. See, and it's interesting too, because when people think, if people think, this is a conscious MC, or this MC, he might be a square. I'm like, do you realize that a lot of these cats who you might call conscious MCs actually do have a past? And maybe that's kind of why they are different now. People don't realize that, KRS-One used to be like homeless.
Right.
Lived on the street, arguably making the first gangster record with Criminal Minded.
Right. Right.
So it's just like
Rakim ain't no square.
Exactly.
Grand Poobah ain't no square.
No. Right. No, Flavor Flav ain't no square. Okay.
Right.
That's something else.
Yeah, but from what y'all saying is, would you rather had a preacher that did 4 years in the theology school or 4 years in prison?
He did 4 years in prison.
I'll take the prison because he have a more of a sense of reality. He has a more sense of a truth.
Yeah.
Come on,
he's
man.
more grounded. He's gonna be more grounded. He's gonna be more relatable.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
There's somebody sitting up there reading select verses from the Bible, thinking they giving you what you need. when this brother been stabbed, shot, so dope, did 4 years, you know what I'm saying? He know God, and if he's sincere with his discernment, he gonna be the realest preacher.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So there's that misconception, and let me set the record straight. Just because a cat isn't necessarily saying what you want to hear, even though it may be what you want to need, it may be what you need and what you need to hear, doesn't mean they don't come from a story and have a past. Right. So a lot of times it's darker than you realize, and that's why they have that light about them now, because they evolved and they saw, okay, this ain't the way. I got to do something about this, and I got to spread the word about what's really going on and what I've done and what I've been through and what I've seen.
Right.
So.
And people need to stop being so particular about where their truth comes from. You just take it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when you say it like that, what you mean?
I mean, sometimes people look down on people because they went through a lot and done a lot.
Oh, right.
And then want to get rid of them because of the things they've been through, when they can have just as much. A poor man can know just as much as a rich man. And they all have something that can contribute. And usually it's the person that's on the bottom has a different perspective versus the person on top never looking down. But that person on the bottom is always looking up and will see more and have a different perspective of what's really happening between the two.
That takes me to the first time I went to New York City. I was I don't know, right down like in the heart of downtown. Mm-hmm. And I was by myself, and it was nighttime, and it was a brother sitting over there on the corner, like faded off from everybody else, and he was like laying on the ground. And some say, go over there and kick it with that brother.
Right.
And I went over there, and he had this stuff laid out across the sidewalk, and I'm like, what's that? It was junk that he got from the garbage, but he said he sold it because that's how he supported his crack habit. And the conversation was deeper than what I'm saying now, but it was what it was saying to me was like, God could exist in anybody.
True.
You know what I'm saying? It's about you as an individual being, how you looking at it, how you approach that situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, that could have been God I could have been kicking it with, putting himself in that form just to see who gonna reject him or who gonna come up there and kick it with him on a human level.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I didn't look at it in that light till like years later. But at that moment, I just felt compelled to go kick it with that brother. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I really believe when it comes to stuff like that, the tests that we have, especially in life, is not so obvious. So sometimes the stuff that we halfway think that we're doing and we think when nobody's watching or we think is irrelevant, usually are the biggest tests that we go through in life.
Oh, ain't no question.
And then the obvious stuff be the setup. That'd be just for show. That don't mean nothing. It's all the stuff you do when nobody's looking. It's all the things you do without somebody asking it from you. That's the stuff that counts. The stuff you got to beg and plead somebody for.
Right.
You can't change their hearts or wanting to do something for you.
Right.
You want the person who just gives willingly.
Exactly.
So we always got to be careful on how we move because we don't know when we were truly being judged or watched.
Right. And that go back, it's all about free will. Yeah. You got the will to do whatever you want to do out here, but it's all about the conscious man that take his free will and elevate itself instead of going out here trying to destroy the earth with it.
Right. Very true. Very true.
Where'd you get your name from, man? Where'd that come from? How did you become S.U.N, Scientific Universal Non-Commercial?
Well, when I first started off, you know what I'm saying, trying to MC in high school and things like that, you know, everything was based off like a Run DMC. Like my boy was, his name was Lavelle, so he was LB Chill, and I was TB Nights.
Okay, that's the original name.
Yeah, you know, just trying to play off the MCs at the stuff at that time. So then when I was off at the military, that's when I was kind of finding myself, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I say I never named myself S.U.N. The universe did, you know what I'm saying? Okay. Because like, how could I come up with a name like that and had an expression of the music that I'm having, you know what I'm saying? The universe knew all of that. I didn't. Okay. And then it said, if you're going to take this name S.U.N, you got to be able to break it down. You got to be able to break the sun down. You got to be able to break it all down. You know what I'm saying? That's why if you go back to my first album, I think is Shining Underground, where like I break down the physical components of the sun, from the hydrogen to all of the components within the physical, when in reality it's about the spiritual, the deep spiritual, you know what I'm saying? So like the name again wasn't something, it was just like a light bulb came on and said, you're gonna be the sun now.
Okay.
And that's where Scientific Universal Non-Commercial came from.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to say that, you know, first of all, you made a great record. For You Make Radiant Room is an amazing album. I love it. It's a record that has themes on like philosophy, spiritualism, science fiction, politics or political corruption, you know, space, and just Afrofuturism. I get all that from your record.
Nice.
Yeah. And consciousness. I wanted to mention that to you. So you made a great album, man.
But I just want to tell you, I got one, me and Brown about to drop called Trouble. And man, that's gonna be another hot one for the record. So stay by for that one.
So is that gonna be a single or is it an album project?
Me and him working on the album together. We got like 5 done, about 4 or 5 tracks done so far.
Oh wow.
Okay. So
everything's sounding good so far.
we can't wait to hear it. Also want to mention that you have a video for Soul Food, so that's cool. And still waiting to get that video for Check 1 2 and see if we can get you to do some more videos. So off your record, because you know, Think About It is one of my favorite tunes, man. I love that song.
Which one?
Think About It.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, with Mr. Ozier. Yeah. And when I hear that song, I can see, like, even today I was thinking about when I was listening to it, I could see you like either giving a press conference and rapping.
Yep.
And then Tony Ozier is in the audience as a reporter saying, I think I want to talk about it. Ooh. Or yeah,
Nice concept.
yeah,
I like
that.
that. I like that.
Or you as the president, and he's a reporter doing the same thing, trying to raise his hand. Yeah. So something for you to think about.
We gonna have that. We gonna have that American flag in there somewhere.
Oh yeah, most definitely, most definitely. So, well, cool, man.
Appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate you, Jay.
Oh, you too, man. Like I said, I'm a fan of yours. Like I said, that was a great find that Keith brought to me. And like I said, it's crazy when you find out about somebody later on, you know, and then you go back and it just as good as the album that catches you. Like I said, the Artist Son was an album that just really made it click. Now I heard some of the other albums, the Artist Son is the one that really clicked. I'm like, wow, okay. And then if you're a new one, it's almost the same thing. So it's just nice when you could go back and you have more of the same, because sometimes you go back and it's like, okay, they're trying to figure it out here. It's all over the place. But you know, all the albums I heard from you, man, they're just strong. Yeah. And it's just like, if that's the past, then you know the future is gonna be on. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, you know, one more little point that I think I needed to drop when we was talking about growth and you kind of knowing your definite place in your lane and what you do.
Yeah.
I had a show maybe at the Blind Pig. This was when, you know, I was really doing them. And and this is when I was more younger in thought, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it was like I was trying to use the artistry Son to try to get with this chick, you know what I'm saying? And at that moment, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm looking at the look on her face and it was just like a letdown, like disappointment. Like her face was saying, I'm not here for this. Whatever you know what I'm saying? Whatever you trying to say or do, you know what I'm saying? And right there at that moment, it was like a learning moment for me. Like you not here to try to use the art for you know, frivolous things like what you trying to do right now.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And at that moment, I never did that again. You know what I'm saying? It was a real teaching moment for me.
Well, I can tell for sure that you respect, like I said, you respect your art, and you can tell by your words, and that's a beautiful lesson, man. Like I kind of went through something similar with my art, where you just kind of like, you know, it's funny how you can use your blessings in not so good ways. You know, it's not necessarily wrong, but in a way it's selfish. And really, your art, your gift is for others. So when you use it selfishly, and that's really what you're about, that's kind of going against you. And then it feels different versus somebody who's just always using it to be shady. And it always works for them because they don't have they don't have the journey. They don't have the same purpose as you.
Right.
So you can't.
And I think that's why I said all that to say it, just from what you're saying right there. You just defined it way more eloquently than I did.
Hey man, I felt what you were saying, man. Like I said, I know that story. I had a different story, but I know that story. I recognize the plot points.
but just the point what you said about like the journey, that they don't have no problem with it because that journey ain't for them. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Yeah.
So real quick, I want to say, Son's album, his whole catalog is actually available on bandcamp.com. You can also go to riseofsun.com and check him out there and get his music. So just want to mention that real quick.
Yeah. Like I said, you are a find and a treasure. And like I said, the beautiful thing about it is, like, for those who that know about you, then they already know what they're getting. For the ones who don't, like I said, it's not many artists you can go back on their catalog, and it's just as on point as it is, and relevant also as it is today. And like I said, for those who are experiencing you for the first time, man, they in for a trip. Yeah. And just keep doing what you're doing, man. Like I said, you most people, a lot of artists don't have sense of self. And without that, they end up being all over the place. You get raggedy situations from not knowing where you're going.
Yep, come on.
You definitely have a map of who you are and where you're going. Yes. And as long as you just push that energy behind it to move it forward, all you gotta do is push the gas.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Keep on doing what you're doing, bro.
You know where you're going.
That consistency pays off.
Keep doing what you're doing, and you got something. So regardless of how stuff seemed, or the clicks or likes or whatever, accolades or whatever, know for yourself, and I know you do, that you have something special, and continue doing what you're doing, because nothing wrong with it at all.
Hey, bro, the world that I live in, you don't hear those type of compliments every day, so I appreciate that all day.
You earned it.
You know you have it in there. You don't need to hear it to be validated, but to hear it always sound beautiful. And Keith always remind me, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, bro.
Without him, you know, I probably would have been out of the game a couple years ago, but he always keep pushing me. So, you know what I'm saying?
Man, Keith ain't gonna let you go, man. Like I said,
nope.
Keith ain't gonna let you go. So,
one of my favorite MCs, man. Never one of them.
We have in our lives and situations the things that we need, and as long as we're open to them and accepting the right things, we're gonna be all right.
Oh, definitely. I mean, and also I forgot to say too that, you know, Sun's music, all the streaming platforms, so Spotify, Tidal, you know, Amazon, all that. Even if you type up Sun and then Scientific Universal Non-Commercial, you can find them. So, but the new album is on Bandcamp. So you can definitely get it from there. So,
well, like I said, it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. Like I said,
thanks
finally,
for taking time to talk to us, man.
Yeah, it was a pleasure meeting you and catching up with you. Like I said, I feel like I knew you from your music, and this is just another level, and it's much appreciated, you know, artist to artist for sure. Yeah. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you do next.
And I appreciate it, bro. You asked, you know what I'm saying, thought-provoking questions, you know what I'm saying? You let me go down in there, so I needed that. Okay. And again, it go back to manifesting, because I was like, I'm always walking around like, damn, when's somebody gonna interview me? You know what I'm saying? So I can express myself, so I can tell my story. And I was just saying that probably a month ago. So when you talk about manifesting, it just manifested. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Man. And there it is. Yeah.
Today we interviewed our special guest, S.U.N, on his beginnings, his career, and his future. All right, so that's it for now. Until next time, peace.
Peace and blessing, brothers. Thank you.
Rap kings, Ypsilanti to the Doocy. Tag team, better fasten up your bootstrings. Trash heap, how these rappers sounding to me. Last week I had to slap around a few beats. Brass rings for the action, bad things finna happen. Rappers won't smoke, we cloud the atmosphere. Fear never, objects in the rear view may appear clever, but they can't match this off of sheer effort. It takes more than what they possess. This is purple tape finesse, ghost face killer, rated chef. God laid hands on the flow, you might say we blessed. Precious jewels passed down in a sacred chest. Passed down like collection plates at Sunday service. To lead you through the grass grounds, guide you from the surface. I hope I ain't being too controversial. Jamal Buffer, Scientific, Universal, Non-Commercial.
Hey, yo, thank you for your stamp and your signature. These young cats is immature. I taste the words like a connoisseur. It's kinda bitter, think they need a babysitter. I'm the never quitter, resume it's only hitters. I got starred, so I called up Jamal. He threw me 16, split the scene, that's my dog. I'm still in service, got a purpose, so I'm working. I'm not that prototype, so they get nervous. I don't disrespect, I drop intellect. Everything I inject, coming from the spirit, so it's intimate. I got passion for creation, emanation. There's so much missing in today's education. I keep it brief, revolution when I speak. I got that food if you feel the need to eat. We got stripes in the game like the Yankees.